Everyone, now we are going to start with the next topic of your Companies Act, that is your prospectus. Now, prospectus is nothing but a document as equivalent to a particular document which you must have come across while taking admission in the college. Now, you must have come across to this term of prospectus, and that particular prospectus, just recollect what was it. It was nothing but a document including all the required information of the college. For your example, your name, your particular principal, vice principal, professor's name and all, designation, your faculties who are there, the courses which are being conducted, for how long that particular college is in existence, and all those things. So similarly, a particular prospectus of a company is also a kind of a document, a kind of an invitation which is being offered to the public, and depending upon which the investors are taking their decision to invest in particular company. Now let us see the definition of the prospectus as per section 270. Now, a document described or issued as a prospectus, and it includes red herring prospectus as per your section 32, shelf prospectus referred to under section 31, or any other advertisement or other documents inviting offers from the public for the subscription or purchase of any securities of a body corporate, that can be called to be as a prospectus. So basically, a prospectus is nothing but a requirement which has been fulfilling all those particular information, which is having all the information. Even if particular investor has not gone through a memorandum of association or articles of association, still he can make his decision by referring to the prospectus. Now let us see what are the different four types of your prospectus which we are going to talk about. One is your abridged prospectus, your red herring prospectus, self prospectus, and your deemed prospectus. Now, what is the abridged prospectus? Abridged prospectus means a prospectus including all the silent features of the prospectus. So basically, it is prescribed that it contains all the features, all the essentials of the actual prospectus. Now, it contains only those details as are required or as are included in the prospectus. Thus, abridged prospectus is basically a small document which is in short consisting of all the information. So every information which is there in the booklet, a booklet of prospectus can be for more than 100-200 pages, but an abridged prospectus is having a shorter version of the actual prospectus. Now when we are talking about the abridged prospectus, it is very important that all those information which you are including in the abridged prospectus is of very much important, and all the persons who are going to refer will refer to all those information, and relying upon them they are going to make the information. So it has to be a authentic and a very much reliable information consisting of in the abridged prospectus. And if any information is false or misleading, that can lead to a punishment with a fine, and at the same time punishment for a term of year, and the fine which can be up to rupees to the extension of your 5,000 rupees. Coming to the next part of your deemed prospectus. Now, deemed prospectus is nothing but nowadays generally the sales of the shares are been taking place, or the debentures sale are been taking place through the issue houses. Now these issue houses are actually advertising the company's shares, and they are only selling of the shares of the company. So when these particular advertisements are being made not by the company but the issue house, they are making a short all those information in that particular one short deep prospectus, and which is called to be as a deemed prospectus. Now that's not exactly the prospectus, but a kind of a document which is made by these particular deemed issuing houses. Next part is your red herring prospectus. When I am talking about your red herring prospectus, it is nothing but a prospectus that contains not all the particulars regarding all the informations of these shares, Specifically, I'm talking about not of the price and the quantum. So that means to say, in your prospectus, the price and the quantum, how much quantity you will be issued, that information is not being given of the securities, that is your shares and debentures. And in this case, the lower value of the shares and the higher value of the shares is generally B, that is the size of the shares, how much size of the shares will be issued, that all information is given, but exact price or exact quantity is not being mentioned, and that is why it is called to be as a red herring prospectus. And last of the type of the prospectus is your shelf prospectus. Now, a shelf prospectus, and you can also call it as an information memorandum. Now, as the term says, it is a prospectus issued by any financial institutions or banks. Now, generally at times even the financial institutions or banks are raising money for the companies and they are issuing the shares to the public. So that is where, when these particular financial institutions for one or more such other companies, they are selling of their particular shares, they are making a kind of a shelf prospectus, and this particular securities are being specifying with all the information in that particular prospectus. Now, even the shelf prospectus shall be having a validity for a period of 1 year from the date on which the opening of that particular shares are been taking place, and the first offering of the shelf prospectus is being made. So a particular shelf prospectus is having the validity of 1 year. After the prospectus, the next part we are going to discuss about is your meetings. Now, meetings are something which are being conducted and which is required to be conducted by the directors, by the shareholders, or by the any person who is there within the functioning of the company. Now, when I am talking about the meetings, we are going to discuss about what are the kinds of meetings. Now, the kinds of meetings are your shareholders meetings, your directors meeting, your creditors meeting, and your tribunal meeting. Now, first, when the most important part is your shareholders meeting, and when we are going to talk about the shareholders meeting, it has been divided into two, that is your general meeting and your class meeting. In general meeting, it is your statutory meeting, annual general meeting, and your extraordinary general meeting. Now, statutory meeting, which was considered to be as the most important part of your company when it was being incorporated. So immediately after the incorporation, the company was required to conduct its first meeting, and which was being called to be as a statutory meeting. But after the framing of your 2013 Companies Act 2013, this particular statutory companies compulsion has been removed. So no particular company is now, be it your public company or be it your private company, no company is required to conduct a statutory meeting. Next, and the very most important is your annual general meeting. Now, every company after the incorporation, within the month or within the 6 months, they are required to conduct an annual general meeting. Now, every year a particular company is required to do a shareholder meeting, which is going to call to be as an annual general meeting. Maximum delay which can be for 3 months, and for that which they have to give a reason why they have not conducted. Now, for each particular meeting they have to make a proper notice. They have to send those notice to all the members of the company, and at the same time conduct a meeting as per the requirement of the quorum. And whatever decision will be made through a voting, which can be a special resolution or an ordinary resolution, and then further pass on the decision, and on which they will have to make the minutes of the meeting and submit it as per the annual reports. Now, when you're talking about the, if for unfortunate reason any particular extra information or extra urgency is required and for which the meeting has to be conducted, that is going to be called as extraordinary general meeting. Now, which is going to be conducted only if required as per the urgency of the case. Next is your class meeting. Class meeting for the classes, that means to your equity shareholders meeting, it can be your preference shareholders, it can be your debenture holders meeting, that can be depending upon the class or a group of being as per their requirement. Next, directors meeting. Now, every director is required to attend the board meeting as and when required. Every board of directors is required to attend minimum 3 meetings in a year, and in a year there are going to be 4 meetings which are going to be there as per the requirement of the Companies Act. Now in this particular meeting, the first meeting should be held immediately after the formation of the company within 30 days, and thereafter maximum or particular gap between 2 meetings of the board of directors can be of 120 days, and for that particular reason needs to be mentioned. So every particular particular number of 90 days, your next meeting will be conducted of the board of directors. Now when we are talking about the board of directors meeting, the next meeting is your committee meeting. Even at times, depending upon the committees, different departments or the group, even the board of directors can frame a particular committee, and on which basis the committee meeting will be held. Now, even in the case of your board of directors or the committee meeting, they are required to conduct a particular meeting, and immediately after that you have to submit the minutes within the period of 30 days, and if it is not been submitted, you will be penalized for the same. Next comes your creditors. Now meeting of the debenture holders, then meeting of the creditors or the contributors, it will depend as and when required. There is no particular rule which has been stated for these particular group of people. If any debenture holders or the creditors or the liquidators, as per the requirement, they can conduct the meeting. And the last but not the least, that is your tribunal meeting. Now this tribunal meeting is being conducted by the court authorities or by the tribunal if there is particular issue, and before conducting this meeting a notice has to be given and it has to be circulated within all the members, directors and everyone. And once even all the meetings whichever we have talked about has to have a proper disposal of it through a minutes, and at the same time they will have to submit the report of the same. So this we have talked about your prospectus and your different meetings. Thank you.